Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well and keeping safe. Today we'll be painting a lovely hanging basket with purple flowers. I spotted these lovely flowers during my morning walks a couple of months back. I hope you enjoy painting these along with me. Before we get started, if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified about my future videos. I'll be posting new videos every Saturday, so let's get started. Firstly, I will do a quick run through my supplies. I have used Kansal XL 140-pound cold press watercolor paper, synthetic round brushes from Bohemia and Winsor & Newton, and Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolors. I will also be using white gouache, scotch tape, a kitchen towel and 2 jars of clean water for my painting. The link for all the materials I have used can be found in the description below. So let's start painting now. Okay, as you can see, I have taped my sheet on all 4 sides using masking tape, and I have just drawn a semicircle with the help of my scotch tape, and I'm just drawing a rough sketch of the hanging basket. Now I am drawing some horizontal lines with the help of my roller scale just to represent the slate tiles, which will be grey in color. I'm just erasing off the lines I don't require, which is where my basket is. Okay, so before we start painting, I will pre-wet my paper using a size 12 brush. I will just exclude the areas where the basket is, and I'm using Payne's grey color just to drop in the color around the basket, just leaving those areas free of color. As we are working wet on wet, the first wash is going to be really light, so we will build up the layers gradually. I'm just taking off some color in areas where I thought I should have kind of left some space blank because I'm going to have my flowers there. Okay, so my paper is now dry. Before I start with the second layer, I have to ensure that it's completely dry. So now I'm building on the second layer. So I'm just going over, again, pre-wetted my paper, and I'm just adding some more color on top of it. Okay. Now the second layer is dry as well. Now when we are doing the third layer, obviously I'm not going to build anything further, but I just need to add a few shadows just to represent how one tile is in front and the second tile is backwards. So all I'm doing is I'm wetting just certain areas where my lines are. Afterwards, I'm just using a clean wet brush to smooth it out, as you can see. So I'm going to continue the same process as I go down the paper. Just not drawing the tiles shadows where my basket is. Okay, we'll start painting our basket now. I'm using yellow ochre color and I'm painting wet and dry this time. You have to make sure the background is completely dry before you start painting the basket, just to make sure that the colors don't seep into the gray background. I'm also wetting the area where I want my flowers to be. In some areas I felt that they shouldn't be gray, so I'm trying to lift off some paint, and the way to do is just wet that area slightly with the brush and use a kitchen towel to lift off some paint. So if the color is not staining, you will be able to pick up some color. Now I'm just dropping in my violet color. And I'm using a size 12 brush again. And this is really loose style. I'm not being specific as to where the flowers will be. It's just, you know, any beginner can also try painting these. So some places would be light, some would be dark, and similar to the background, we'll be building up the layers. While this is drying, I've started adding a bit of detail onto my basket. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just using a very thin brush. I think it's size 1 brush. And I'm adding some very thin lines, and we will build up on those lines as well gradually to get the texture of the basket. So I've added in a bit of sepia color as well now, and I'm using a bigger brush this time to have longer lines. So I'm adding some darker areas with sepia color, wet on wet. Okay, I need to make sure that's completely wet before I add in a bit more detail. While it's drying, I'll start working on the flowers again. I'll add some greens in now. I'm using sap green color. And I'm just dropping in the green color in between the flowers, the gaps that we have. Adding in a bit of hooker's green as well now. Okay, now we're painting the metal bars using ivory black color. Okay, we'll let that dry, and I'm now adding darker paint for the flowers. So it is really a play of light and dark. And the best part is that you don't really have to, plan too much for these flowers, and you can just play with colors, wet on wet and wet on dry, and achieve some lovely results. So beginners can easily try this, and I really like playing with this color, the way I like it, and not being very specific about a detailed botanical painting. As you can see, I'm adding a few darks on the leaves as well now. I'm using a little bit of lemon yellow just to brighten up the hay on my basket. Okay, now we'll be using a bit of white gouache to add a bit of kind of a variation in the hay and add in some highlights. So as you can see, I mixed a bit of yellow ochre with white gouache, and that's also going to act as if it's opaque, and I also get that yellow tinge. And I can add a bit of hay coming down just, beyond the basket, and get some really realistic effects this way. You can use a very thin brush for this. I'm also adding in a few highlights on the flowers using white gouache. And that really adds life to my painting. Okay, now I'll use white gouache again to paint the chain. I'm just making some oval shapes connected with some very thin lines. I'm using a size 1 brush here. I'm just adding a few final touches to my purple flowers now, a few darks here and there. So yes, I'm quite pleased with the way these flowers in the basket have turned out, and I really don't want to overdo it much now. So I'll just take off my masking tape, and that's my painting complete. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have learned something from this tutorial. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have benefited from this tutorial. If you're fond of painting florals, do check out my other tutorials on how to paint a single rose and paint roses in loose style. I will add the link in the description below. I will see you in another video very soon. Till then, take care. Bye.